This is Southern Idaho's rock station, 103.1 The Edge. Online. Yeah, see that? I even used technology to make it sound like I could sing and harmonize. I'm cool like that. Hey, thanks for checking us out. Of course, had Neil and Taylor from Royal Bliss on Broc Hard Mornings and talked about an exciting show happening right here in the Magic Valley. It's been tradition for Royal Bliss to play a Thanksgiving weekend show somewhere in Southern Idaho. Now, it stopped happening for a little while, but then they brought it back last year, and the dudes blew the fucking roof off the Orpheum Theater. I was there for it. I blew the fucking roof off of my head. Thanks, 10-barrel canned cocktails. The Greyhound was my poison last year. I had about 48 of them. And based on the fact that they're like 13 or 14% alcohol, let's just say that it was a good thing for once that I'm the size of a backyard shed. By the way, it goes without saying that Broc Hard Mornings, 103.1 The Edge, encourage you to always drink responsibly and use a designated driver. If you're under the age of 21 and you try and buy a drink at one of our events, or if you're over the age of 21 and buy a drink for somebody under the age of 21, we'll throw the both of you into the middle of a busy street, but not before I fart on your face. Some restrictions may apply. Void where prohibited. Don't be a fucking moron at any one of our 103.1 The Edge events. Love you. All right, so anyway, they're doing it again this year, Saturday, November 30th. The tickets officially went on sale about 12 seconds after we wrapped up the interview on the air. And if you want to buy yours, you can get them online, facebook.com/1031 The Edge. I have the link posted. They start at just $15. Without further ado, the legendary Neil and Taylor of Royal Bliss. What's up, guys?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I don't have any like champion victory music queued up, but I can make that happen in post. It's been a little while since you guys have played Two Falls, and it's kind of become somewhat of a tradition that you guys come play a show over Thanksgiving weekend, whether it be Black Friday or the Saturday after Black Friday. What is it, Small Business Saturday? Here in the Magic Valley. So just about the time that everybody's kind of cooped up and tired of staring at family and tired of staring at the TV and they want to get the hell out of the house and do something, in comes Royal Bliss to save the day, and it's happening again this year from what I understand.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been, like, it kind of started a long time ago. We used to play the day after Thanksgiving every year somewhere around the Magic Valley area. And then we kind of went away from it for a while, but then the past few years we've been doing it again. It's just been an awesome night. So it brings back a lot of good memories, and we always love coming up there. You know, we wouldn't be in the position we are as a band today if it wasn't for Twin Falls and the people that believed in us in the beginning. So it's always good for us. It's like a holiday tradition, and it's where we came from. So it's good to come back.
The love is mutual. I mean, the fan base here in Twin Falls has been growing, Neil, just like you said, from the very beginning. And what I loved about last year's show, and by the way, this one's happening at the Orpheum Theater. We'll talk a little bit more about what's happening this year, but last year was kind of experimental in that they didn't do rock shows at the Orpheum. You guys were, in fact, number one, and it provided for such a nice, close, intimate setting. I think that vibe is what I dug the most about it. That and my Black Friday became somewhat of a blackout Friday, which is kind of par for the course when it comes to going to a Royal Bliss show, in my world anyway.
You weren't the only one.
And this time I can kiss my Saturday, November 30th goodbye, but with good friends and good tunes. And by the way, speaking of good tunes, I wanted to congratulate you guys on the release of Blood, Wood, and Steel, brand new acoustic album that you just dropped in August. What I love about it is that it features acoustic versions of some of the classics, some of the songs that got me into Royal Bliss. I mean, when I first started getting into Bliss, it was thanks to Kurt Cruiser, who at the time was my program director on a radio station that it doesn't exist anymore, but it was 99.9 The Buzz. And one of the first radio stations, if not the first radio station in the country, to start playing Royal Bliss. And one of the songs that, I mean, me, even as the afternoon/evening DJ, I would get excited when I would see Wait For Me come up on the playlist. And now you've got a brand new version of it out that is just so good. And then it's not all vintage songs. You've got the acoustic version of Paranoid and Black Rhino and Adrenaline. And this thing is for sale right now. In fact, I saw that there's an autographed copy of it for sale on the website, royalbliss.com. So if you're not familiar with it, you got to go pick up a copy of it. at, again, royalbliss.com. But going back to some of the originals, some of the classics that you re-recorded on that thing, that takes me back to 2004, and now here we are, I don't know, 150 years later.
20 years later.
Oh, man. And speaking of some of the classic OG Royal Bliss songs, earlier this year, you dropped King Again, which is an EP. It's got 4 songs on it. And there again, you got Fine Wine and Morning After and Roll One, and you've got a different version of Fine Wine. It just takes me back to a happy place. Tell me a little bit about how King Again came together.
We had an idea, being it our 25th anniversary last year, to record some of our earliest songs. And some of those songs were, songs that Twin Falls, Idaho, specifically Fine Wine and Champagne, it was like the most popular song on the radio station up there. And it kind of kickstarted everything for Royal Bliss. So we went and we did kind of a modern version. It still has some of that old classic Royal Bliss vibe. And, it's like we got to do it in more than one take. So it's a little more professional than it was. And technically back then, there weren't these digital, streaming services. And the only way you could listen to this music is if you either, I guess, lived in Twin Falls or you bought a CD. So we never actually released that specific album digitally. So this is kind of your ticket to a little blast from the past. And there's, what do we do? 4 songs, 3 songs? And we're thinking about maybe doing more. Who knows?
Yeah, it was cool to revisit. We did Morning After, which is one of the first songs we ever wrote, and it was really neat to go back and songs, 20, 25 years after we wrote them, and I think a lot of the fans really enjoyed the new take on it, and it kind of brought them back too, because that's what music does to you. You hear that song again, and it takes you back to those days, whether they were good or not, but it was like the good old days of being young and hangovers weren't so heavy.
It was certainly nostalgic for me, and I've got to pick a favorite. Roll One, which I think is the song you guys wrote about a steamroller, right? The road construction kind of is that what?
Sushi. It was all about sushi.
Sushi, yeah, sushi or marijuana. And that was one of the first songs that I gravitated towards when I was first being introduced to you guys, because it was a little different. I mean, certainly on the rock side of things, but it's almost got a bit of a Hawaiian feel to it. It's got this great beat behind it, and it is exactly what you would expect from a song called Roll One, where you can just kind of kick back and enjoy. And when I heard the new version on King Again, it's like, oh man, it takes me back to a special place, which first makes you feel old, but then also makes you realize that the amount of love you guys have had for the Valley, and how long that's been, and the love that we've had for you guys. Like you said, I mean, it's kind of your home away from home. You guys have been playing shows here for a long time. And every time I see you, I love you a little more. Speaking of that, Taylor, let's talk about what's happening on November 30th. Let's talk about the show that's coming up.
Yeah, Saturday, November 30th. You got that right. A couple days after Thanksgiving. It's kind of our annual little Thanksgiving week we do. We've got a band, American Hitmen, great band out of Salt Lake. They tour the world, really. And then we have another new band called Acacia Ridge that's out of, I believe, Ogden, Utah. Check them both out on their Spotify, and I'm sure everyone will dig them. But yeah, that's the lineup this year. We're stoked to get back there. The Orpheum Theater is actually a really sweet spot. Like, I didn't even know it existed, and all of a sudden someone recommended it to me, and we went and checked it out. We're like, we're doing a show here for sure. There's not a bad seat in the house, and I'm pretty sure tickets start at $15. So, and it's all ages, and they have a bar. It's all good.
Yeah, it sold out pretty quick last year. So if you're planning on coming, I would just grab your tickets now, because it was, I think it was gone in 3 days last year.
And the on sale for the show is what we're chatting about today. It's why we wanted to do get together on the air. As soon as we wrap this thing up, you can get those tickets on royalbliss.com. I'll have the link posted up on our Facebook page literally 30 seconds after we wrap up. Just head over to facebook.com/1031 The Edge. That is where you can buy those babies up. And we cannot stress enough, they sold out so fast last year. They're going to do the same thing this year. And they start at $15.
And be careful of the scams out there. So if it does sell out, there's people like, hey, I can't go anymore. I got 4 available. Don't fall for that crap.
Yeah, that
There's some people that it happened last year, and they drove all the way. They drove like 4 hours to come to the show, and luckily we snuck them in there, but they were devastated when they got there and found out they had been scammed.
Yeah, sadly, that is a growing problem. It seems like it becomes a little more every day. These motherfuckers who want to scam fans who just want to go out and rock out and have a good time. So do not buy them from somebody on Facebook or whatever that you don't know. If you've got a friend that you know in real life who maybe picked up a pair of tickets and now they can't go to the show, sure, that's fine. But make sure they bought it from a reputable source. And by reputable source, I mean the radio station website will have the right link. The Edge Facebook page, royalbliss.com. But don't just go to Facebook Marketplace and say, okay, look at that, I'm buying my tickets. Because, yeah, it's going to be a scam. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask you if there's anything new coming our way. I mean, you just dropped that album in August, but is there anything else on the horizon for Bliss that we could expect?
We got a fun cover song coming out probably in the next few weeks. And then I'm not sure what's the next one in line. We haven't finalized that yet, but we got tons of music in the vault coming out, and we're just kind of wrapping up this year and moving to next year, where I think we're talking about doing another one of those Tom Petty tributes, which may come up to Idaho. So,
those are so fun. So fun.
Yeah.
That is certainly something we can look forward to maybe in 2025. But the immediate excitement is November 30th at the Orpheum Theater. It is an all-ages show. Tickets are on sale. Get them from royalbliss.com. You can get them at 1031theedge.com. We'll be giving some away as we get a little closer to the show on the air. And, dude, it's always an absolute pleasure, and I cannot wait to hang out again to get that holiday spirit in full swing with the show at the Orpheum.
It doesn't really start until Royal Bliss says it's time for Merry Blissmas.
Well, we will kick off my favorite time of the year, Blissmas, together November 30th. Neil, Taylor, Royal Bliss, I love you guys to death. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up on November 30th. How about that?
Thank you
so much, brother.